Hello and welcome to my video on our script production and analysis class for the Filmmaking Masters at Full Sail University. Um, this class has been interesting for me because I came from the creative writing bachelor's. So there was a lot of information that I would say I was already familiar with. There were concepts that I already knew, even like a whole book for the class that I already had gotten in the bachelor's. But I was worried at the start of the class that this was just going to be a big jumbled up recap of my bachelor's program. And to a certain extent it was, but it also wasn't a waste. There was definitely information that we went over in the course that I was already familiar with, but at the same time there was stuff I felt was elaborated on and explained a little better in this class than I think throughout my bachelor's. And it was very condensed, but I think I would say it's probably fair to say I produced more writing in this class than in any single month of the bachelor's. For the most part in the bachelor's program, it was like we did one piece of writing a month. This class we did three, and it was crammed, but it was good. It wasn't exactly like a tough exercise for me as a writer, but I can see how some of the other people in the class would struggle writing a 1 page and then a 5 page and then a 10 page. Like for me, a 10 page is easy, but there are students in my class who don't, who they struggle with the English language, who I had to help out, and there are people who aren't writers who don't know the formatting or just aren't very good writers. Um, you know. So with the familiarity of the material, I was worried that maybe I would be, bored or like feel like I already know this. I don't really need to pay attention. But like, I didn't honestly feel that way because there were plenty of times where, you know, we would start talking about a subject, but then Jenny, our teacher, would begin to elaborate in a way that I hadn't been taught, or she would explain things in a way that were different, and suddenly, like, oh, now I get why that's a thing. Um, and there was definitely more in-depth discussion about certain topics. Um, and so overall, I feel like this 1 month has been kind of a good recap of a lot of stuff, but it has also been a great learning experience to learn some stuff that I hadn't necessarily known or to learn things in a different way. So, overall, I would say I think this class lived up to my expectations. Um, we had talked to some other filmmakers beforehand who said, it's one of the hardest classes, and I could see how someone who's not a writer would think that's the case. I'm not saying the class is easy, um, but it's not as hard if you have writing experience in writing draft after draft after draft in a single month. If you come from the creative writing bachelor's like me, it's probably going to be a little easier for you. Um, I definitely, I have no problem, coming up with like a 10 page script in an afternoon. Um, it might not be the best 10 page script, but I can do it. Um, but I understand that, not everybody who goes through the filmmaking masters wants to be a writer, so it is what it is. Um, as far as critiquing our fellow classmates' work, that's stuff I'm used to as well. I've been doing a lot of that in the creative writing bachelor's. Um, I don't think I was as helpful in the critique or as like harsh as I usually am when I critique, simply because of the fact that these other students aren't necessarily writers, so I can't be like, well, that doesn't do that right, or like, don't want to point out. I don't know. I guess I felt a little bit more laid back, knowing like, okay, some of these guys don't want to be writers and have no ambition towards writing, and they want to be cinematographers or directors, and that's fine. It's whatever. So, whatever. I don't know. But, you know, critiquing stuff used to that. Um, but there was a lot of really good discussion, a lot of really good lecture in the class, and overall, it lived up to my expectations, and it even went beyond. It proved some of the worries I had about the class wrong. Um, but overall, this has been a fun experience, and it's probably my favorite class of the filmmaking master so far. So that does it for this video. Bye bye.